Hire the best missing persons private detective. Many people go missing every year, and sadly, many of them remain lost, abducted, or otherwise missing. Unfortunately, law enforcement does not have sufficient time, resources, or even the desire to fully investigate crimes and missing persons cases. Thus, this is why many people choose to hire the best missing persons private investigators near me and parental kidnapping private detectives near me from the best private investigation agency near me to conduct missing persons investigations and parental kidnapping investigations on their behalf. Indeed, in the private sector, just like with private criminal defense attorneys in Oklahoma City versus public defenders, our child abduction private detectives and missing persons private investigators, our private detective agency in OKC, often have more time and resources to conduct fully thorough child abduction private investigations and parental kidnapping private investigations. What is a missing persons private investigator from a private investigation agency in Oklahoma? A missing persons private detective and missing kids private investigator from the best private investigation agency near me conducts missing persons private investigations and parental kidnapping private investigations. Licensed runaway kids private investigators near me and parental kidnapping private detectives near me from private detective agencies near me have a plethora of experience in locating missing persons, as well as the technology, contacts, and other resources to back up their fact-finding expeditions. How do missing persons private investigators from private investigation agencies conduct missing persons private investigations and locate missing persons? When you choose to hire a missing persons private detectives and choose to hire kidnapping private detectives from private detective agencies in OKC to conduct missing children private investigations and runaway children private investigations, they have many tactics at their disposal to help locate missing kids and to help locate missing people. Some of the many methods that experienced missing persons private detectives and child abduction private investigators at our private investigation agency near me use to find missing persons include, but are not limited to, the following: nationwide skip trace service. Our licensed child abduction private detectives and missing persons detectives from our private investigation agency near me often conduct a skip trace service as a part of their child abduction private investigations and parental kidnapping investigations. Nationwide skip tracing by a skip tracer near me, a process server near me, or a missing persons investigator near me is one of the fastest, least expensive ways to locate missing people. Our skip tracers, process servers, and parental kidnapping private detectives near me have conducted tens of thousands of skip trace services as a part of their efforts to find missing persons for many years. To conduct skip tracing, our skip tracers, process servers in OKC, and child abduction private investigators near me will first ask each client for as much of the following information they have about the person of interest, POI, as possible. Full legal names, including previous names and aliases, social security number or last 4 digits of the hashtag, date of birth, year of birth, or age range, race, former and current email addresses, former and current residential and employment addresses, including dates and those addresses, former and current phone numbers, all URLs to social media links, driver's license number, usernames, login names. Our skip tracers, process servers, and missing persons private investigators at our private investigation agency near me fully understand that most people do not have all this information. That is totally understandable, and many of our missing kids private investigators and child abduction private detectives at our private investigation agency in OKC that conduct missing persons investigations and parental abduction private investigations understand this and can often even find much of this information on their own. In return, our runaway teen private detectives and missing persons private detectives at our private investigation agency in Oklahoma that provide missing kids private investigations and missing people private investigations will attempt to provide you with as much of the following information as possible about the person of interest, POI, full legal name, driver's license, social security number, hashtag, current and former email addresses, current and former residential and work addresses, current and former phone numbers, professional licenses, liens, judgments, bankruptcies, gun licenses, UCC filings, names of the POI's neighbors, family and friends and their info, nationwide criminal background check, marriage license records, California only, global watch lists, employment history. So much more. Do any of these items above sound like information that would be helpful for you to know about another person? If so, then you need to hire the best process server, hire the best skip tracer, and hire the best parental kidnapping private detective near me from our best private investigation agency in El Reno, Oklahoma to help conduct missing persons private investigations and child abduction private investigations on your behalf. Our child abduction private investigators and missing persons detectives, our private investigation agency in OKC, truly are the best. License plate checks. Our missing kids private investigators and missing persons private detectives at our private investigation agency in Oklahoma that conducts runaway child private investigations and kidnapping private investigations can also run any Oklahoma license plate of vehicles which are unknown to our clients or which are otherwise suspicious. Whenever you hire a kidnapping private detective or a missing persons investigator at our private detective agency in Mustang to run the license plates of vehicles, you can rest assured that you will receive the name and address of the vehicle's owners expeditiously. If the address associated with the owner of the vehicle turns out to be old, or if you simply need additional information about the person of interest, POI, you can also hire a skip tracer, hire a process server, or hire a parental kidnapping private detective from our private investigation agency in Edmond to conduct nationwide skip tracing on your behalf. As mentioned earlier, our skip trace service by a licensed process server, a child abduction private detective, and a skip tracer near me, our private detective agency in Bethany, can provide you with all kinds of valuable information about the POI that can prove to be very helpful in your court case against her and them. Social media scans, deep internet searches, private investigations, and missing persons private investigations and help give a clearer perspective and more insights into the whereabouts of missing persons. Monitoring of the POI's social media. Another way to locate missing persons is by choosing to hire a missing persons private investigator and child abduction investigator from our private detective agency near me to actively monitor the social media of a person of interest, POI. Indeed, many people post their whereabouts, activities, and whom they are with, and at what time all over their social media. Thus, if you need to locate missing people quickly, you can hire the best missing persons private investigator near me or hire the best kidnapping private detective near me from the best private investigation agency near me to closely watch a POI's social media on your behalf. Eventually, most people just give their whereabouts. Surveillance of the POI. One of the best ways to locate missing people is to hire the best missing persons private detective near me or to hire the best child abduction private detective near me from the best private detective agency near me that conduct child abduction private investigations and parental kidnapping private investigations to conduct surveillance on a POI. By waiting and watching the residence, place of employment, or even the homes or places of employment of friends and family members of the POI. Indeed, POIs tend to like to visit family, friends, and familiar areas. So if you need to locate missing people, then this can be a great way to do it. GPS and other tracking devices. Unfortunately, as of 2019, not even licensed private investigators in Oklahoma and missing persons investigators that conduct parental kidnapping private investigations and child abduction private investigations may place tracking devices onto the vehicles or persons of others. Why is this so? A private investigator in OKC and a missing persons private eye from a private detective agency in Moore placed one onto the car of one of Oklahoma's state legislators, and he got and helped pass a bill prohibiting the use of tracking devices, canvassing neighborhoods, businesses, etc. One of the most important methods to locate missing persons that missing persons detectives and parental kidnapping investigators at the best private detective agency in El Reno that conduct missing persons private investigations and child abduction private investigations is to canvass neighborhoods, businesses, etc., where the person of interest, POI, might frequent or where people could be that have seen the POI. This method does include a greater amount of time and financial resources and something less expensive and quicker like a skip trace by a skip tracer near me, a process server near me, or a missing persons private investigator near me, but it also has its own benefits. Skip tracing by the best skip tracer, the best process server, and the best child abduction private investigator at the best private investigation agency in Oklahoma City, while expensive and conducted quickly, also takes time to register new addresses for a POI. It can often take months or even years for POIs to rent a new PO box, pay taxes, register a new car or driver's license, register new utilities, etc. when you need to find a missing person quickly, but the person has only recently disappeared, that it is likely that the new address may not yet register on the nationwide skip trace. This is especially true if the POI has no stable home or work address. While choosing to hire the best missing persons private detective and hire the best kidnapping private detectives from the best private investigation agency in Piedmont, Oklahoma does cost money. Our missing persons private investigators and parental kidnapping private investigators, our private investigation agency in Mustang, can start this work quickly. Because the owners of our private investigation agency in Nichols Hills, OCA built this women-owned private detective agency in Oklahoma up to be the largest Oklahoma-owned private investigation agency. You can hire many child abduction private detectives and parental kidnapping private investigators from the best private investigation agency in the village, OCA to work quickly to cover large areas. Reviewing CCTV video footage. Another popular tactic, you can hire the best missing persons investigator or hire the best child abduction private investigator near me to review CCTV cameras around neighborhoods and businesses, especially in areas very close to where the person of interest, POI, could be or where it has have recently been. By choosing to hire a missing children private investigator and by choosing to hire a parental kidnapping private detective from the best private investigation agency in Oklahoma to review video camera footage, you are covering yet another base and helping to locate a missing person. Post office box checks to locate physical addresses associated with USPS PO boxes. Sometimes all our clients have when trying to find a missing person is that person's United States Postal Service's USPS's PO box number. While interesting, the process server near me from our private detective agency near me can serve papers upon a post office box. However, our missing persons private detectives and missing kids private investigators at our private investigation agency in Nichols Hills can request to see the physical address associated with the post office box number. Forwarding mail address checks. Whenever someone moves from one home or work address to another, they can also file a mail forwarding request form to have the USPS send their mail from their old address to their new one. That way they continue to receive all their mail. You can hire a parental kidnapping private detective and hire a missing children private detective from our best private investigation agency in OKC to conduct missing kids private investigations and missing persons investigations by requesting that new address from the United States Postal Service. Catfishing. When romance scams occur or you suspect marital infidelity, you can hire the best infidelity private investigator or runaway child private investigator from our private investigation agency in OKC to conduct romance scam private investigations and parental kidnapping private investigations on your behalf via catfishing. Catfishing occurs when our runaway teen private investigators and missing persons private investigators at our best private detective agency in Moore Oak to create fake romance and sex profiles and reach out to the POI for romance and/or sex. Not only can catfishing help catch cheaters, but such a method can also help to draw out a POI and find a missing person. Hiring paid informants. There's nothing quite as nice as a paid informant. Even law enforcement officials use paid informants to gather intelligence and data they want. As such, one method, an experienced missing persons private detective and the best child abuse private investigator from the best private detective agency near me that conducts child abuse private investigations and missing persons investigations is to use money or other goods to loosen the tongues of people who might have knowledge of a missing person's whereabouts. Indeed, many people will gladly turn on one another and take larger risks for money, so sometimes our child abduction private investigators and missing persons detectives at our private investigation agency in Edmond give this method a try. What are the chances of finding a missing person alive after 72 hours? The chances of locating missing people within the first 72 hours of their disappearance is 75%, 94%, whether alive or dead. Indeed, most findable are located by law enforcement, by missing persons investigators, and/or by runaway teen private detectives within this time period. After 72 hours, the chances of being able to find missing people drop significantly because memories start to fade and leads begin to disappear. Thus, it is vital that you choose to hire the best missing persons private detective near me and hire the best child abduction private investigator near me from the best private investigation agency near me. Each hour that passes makes it less and less likely that someone will locate missing people for you with a high degree of success. If you need to locate a missing person, please contact one of our missing kids private investigators or parental kidnapping private investigators at our private investigation agency in War Acres today to conduct child abduction private investigations and missing kids private investigations on your behalf.